Hello, my astrology friends. This is Lada from AstroladaOfficial, and we're here with the 2023 Astrology Marathon. And my guest is Mishele. Hello, Mishele.
Hi, Lada. How are you? Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you for taking this so important topic, the topic of Saturn and Pisces. And Mishele, as a student of Nikola is incredible at remedies. If you check previous videos with Mishele, she gives incredible remedies. She also helped Nikola the late Nikola develop his remedies as well. So I'm very excited to hear what you see about Saturn in Pisces and how it will impact the 12 signs.
Oh, thank you. Well, let's go ahead. Let's share my screen if I can get permission for that. And that way I did make a little presentation here.
And while I'm doing that, I just want to tell that Mishele, everyone is doing an offering for 2023 from the release of this video. Mishele is offering for 2-3 weeks her remedies reading at 30% discount. If you're interested to have a reading with Mishele, she is the closest student of the late Nikola who developed this incredible system at looking at the birth chart. And did you get the permission?
Yes.
Yes, I'll put the link below for Mishele's profile if you'd like to have readings with Mishele. And now we're going to talk about Saturn in 2023.
Okay, can you see that?
Not yet.
Is it up?
No.
Oops. Let me see if I can escape. Let me try it again. Apologize. Let's see. There we go.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Let's see if I can make this. Okay. Perfect. Here we go. I'm going to go ahead. Okay. So remedies for Saturn and Pisces. I was actually kind of excited. I'm going to actually take my video off too. Okay. So I was excited because the first thing that I thought about was actually Nikola as well. There is a special degree that he has, 12 degrees of Capricorn. And, to me, it's a Pisces degree, 12 degrees. And then obviously Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. So I thought about this because, it's a degree that means to find a buried treasure and enormous wealth. So I thought about, I know people are fearing Saturn, but really what Saturn is that gives us it brings us opportunities. It gives us this opportunity to get tested on something. And there's a lot of perseverance that comes with it. But it reminded me of a story. This actual degree is going back to the myth of Zeus, when he was being raised by the goat, right? And it had 3 brothers. One of the brothers went underneath the sea as he was swimming, was down there for a while. They were kind of worried. And then he came up with a conch shell. Well, when he came out and he blew it, everybody started laughing. It was loud, they laughed, but then he carried it around his neck. They went into war with the Titans. And when they went to a cave, the goat sounded that horn from the conch shell, and it scared them and ran them off. And there was one thing that they won, but in the end, because when that goat passed away, Zeus honored him with the constellation of Capricorn. So it reminds me, and this is what I think about Saturn going into Pisces, and this is the blending of this energy, is that you know, we're going to be tested. We're going to spend some time on this house. And as we learn these tests, what we're going to find is some sort of buried treasure within us, depending on the house that it's at. So not necessarily is it going to exactly mean this special degree, but I was just using this as kind of an example of what I think that we're going to be able to gain from this, utilizing Saturn to the highest possibility of this Pisces to really find a buried treasure within us. And I think that's the biggest for me that I'm excited about. So let's start. We're going to go ahead and start with Pisces, whether it's your ascendant, sun, or moon. I use whole sign just for these, but if you do the reading, it's really important to look at, you know, the degree, because once that Saturn crosses your ascendant degree is really when you're going to feel the big changes. But for Pisces, you know, Saturn has gone through your 12 houses. And so now this is a reset, you know, now it's a new start. You know, a lot of times ascendant of Pisces don't like to show their true self to people. So when that, you know, with Saturn coming here, now it's like, hey, you've learned a lot of lessons, you have a lot to show, you have a lot to teach, you've mastered some things, right? You have a lot of knowledge. So now it's time to really show people who your true identity is. It's going to push you to those limits of really showing who you are. And it might feel strange in the beginning, but this is something that is, you know, slow and steady. You know, you don't want to rush into a whole lot of stuff, but this is going to be like a brand new awakening, you know, for your physical body. Of course, this is a house of action, right? Originally ruled, or it is ruled by Aries, but this house is about taking action. And so when you have Saturn coming here, you want to take inspired action. You know, what do you really want to accomplish? What are your goals? And look at it from that aspect versus, you know, starting a whole lot of different things. And Aries wants to do it really fast, but Saturn wants to do it slow and steady. So, you know, this cardinal house, definitely take the inspired action. So be really sure of what you want. Now, I always tell people that, you know, Saturn is the planet of delays and wants you to wait. So it's really important for you to take control of that and create your own delays. And what I mean by that is that when somebody asks you to do something, your instant response, because Saturn here feels like it's an obligation, like it's their duty to do stuff and to help people, right? Because they are the master, they have a lot of knowledge. But at this point, the best thing to do is to take control of your life by saying a little wait on a response, meaning if you, Lada, asked me to, you know, go to the movies on Friday, you know, tonight, I'll say, oh, let me think about it. That's a small delay. You're not given an instant response. You know, this Canaan house wants an instant response, and it's your actions, right? And so our biggest power that we have is to be in control of our actions. So here you're taking control of the situation. Even if you want to do it, you just say, oh, let me think about it, or let me check my schedule. I'll get back to you. When do you need to know by? And that way it puts the responsibility back to you, and you can just turn around, look at your schedule, and then just say, yeah, that'll be fine. But you want to make sure that you're creating some sort of little delay. It doesn't have to be long, you know, just it depends on the situation, obviously. If they need to know by a specific date, ask them, you know, because you want to take control. When do you need to know by? I'll let you know by that date. The other thing is about boundaries, you know, having an ascendant of Pisces, sometimes they don't have boundaries. They go with the flow and they just want to, they'll just do what other people say. But this is a time to really, you know, say no to people and do it nicely, you know, because, oh, thanks for the offer, but I'm really not going to be able to make it tonight, but have fun, you know, send me pictures, enjoy yourself, you know. and you're going to be tested because people are going to be like, well, why can't you tell me, or just let me know, and just say, I'll let you know, I'll get back to you. And it's also about taking responsibility, taking care of yourself. Saturn will be very critical, so you can be self-critical, but use it to your best. What do you feel like you're lacking on, or what do you need to improve on? Instead of being negative about it, just say, oh, I recognize that I need to work on time management. And time is something ruled by Saturn, and that is something that you could be tested on as well. How are you managing your time? So it's a really good time to restructure your life, because Saturn is definitely going to be like, it's time to get organized and disciplined. So, and your physical body as your ascendant is going to be the biggest part of it. There's going to be a lot of hard work required of a daily practice. Is it, going to the gym, taking care of your physical body, increasing your energy, because it's Pisces, it's definitely going to be something not too stressful, whether it's yoga, but it's something daily that you really have to incorporate into your life. Even maybe some self-defense classes, some way to defend yourself, because Saturn is a planet of defense as well. But it's going to be something hard work that is required on your physical body, but because you're in a transformation, so you can really tone up your body, you can get stronger, and also releasing some bad habits. So this could be a time of really being that self-critical. Is this habit serving me? Like, is smoking, are you eating, a Snickers bar every day for breakfast? Are you drinking soda? Are you just kind of reevaluate the foods that you're eating, and maybe restrict them out of your life to see how you feel? Kind of give yourself some tests. I mean, this is going to be a long transit, so a lot of things are going to change, but you're really going to be taking accountability for your actions. And I think that's the biggest thing here, is that these are your actions. So take accountability. Is that habit good for you? Are you drinking too much? Are you spending a lot of money on things that just aren't really serving you? So I think this is going to be a challenging time, but I think through it, you're going to come out of it stronger. Your daily practice, definitely, because of the Pisces, is a spiritual practice, meditation. And I think guided meditation will be very beneficial, because you want somebody to kind of walk you through the process. And so that might keep your mind, because a cadent house is very quick and wants to do something fast. And so maybe just having some small little guided meditations will help you get through your day. I think a gratitude list is really important as well, because of the fact that Saturn is going to criticize, your life. This will be a good way of combating that by saying what you're grateful for, and really that shows you all that you have, and then looking at what you want, speak that into existence. If you want to have more patience, say, I'm grateful that I have so much patience, and speak it into existence. So and then I think, and I didn't put it there, but affirmations, because of the fact that it is very critical, and this is yourself, is what can you say day to day to motivate your own self, and really shift your perspective. I think as well, because this is Saturn is about lemons, and you definitely want to drink a lot of water. Start your day off first thing in the morning with warm water with lemon. And then throughout the day, constantly drinking water. If it should be, it depends. The goal maybe should be a gallon of water a day, but it's something that's going to be very beneficial for your physical body. I think another thing too, because Saturn can cause like dry skin, is to do skin brushing. That's a really good practice to help increase circulation, get rid of some of the dead skin, old things, and kind of rejuvenate your skin. Another aspect is that you want some solitude, you want some separation, but you don't want to totally be separated from everybody. But a hot bath in some Epsom salt water That would be really good. There is a thing called a float bath. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's like in this isolation chamber where you lay in there, you're floating. It's in the salt water, and it's very rejuvenating. Really look into the benefits of it. You know, if you don't have it in your area, you can always take a hot bath, you know, visit the beach and get water. There's always different ways that you can kind of relax. Another aspect is that, you know, there's a hot and cold shower method. You know, Wim Hof has a method about, you know, shocking your body with cold water. They do ice water plunges, but, you know, you can do this. He has free lessons as well, where you can do in the shower. You can just do a cold shower and then switch it to hot. I say the cold because Saturn is a cold planet, and you know, this cadent house is, you know, Aries is a fire. So combining that cold and the hot together will help as well therapeutically for your body. There's a lot of benefits to it. You know, and the other aspect is that, you know, Saturn comes in and wants to ground you, because this is a very, you know, Pisces is a mutable energy, go with the flow, just very adapting. But Saturn wants you to come and just really get grounded. So going outside, having your feet connect to the earth. If you don't have that, you can also get black crystals, like black tourmaline is really good for grounding yourself. You can hold them and just get grounded. And I think it's I think that's it for the first house. Let me go to the next slide. All right, so Aquarius, sun, moon, or rising. Your second house is where you're going to have this transit. Now, Saturn rules time. So, and these are also your values. So how do you value your time? This is a good way of analyzing. You know, Saturn is definitely the planet that will analyze and, you know, analyze how you're spending your time. You know, who are you spending it with? Are you spending a lot of time on social media? Are you spending a lot of time with friends who, you know, maybe you're not doing the best things? Maybe you're going out and drinking and you're not really working on your life. So I think this is going to be a really, really valuable time to really analyze how are you spending your time, and then invest in yourself. You know, this is about your values. This is about your skills, what makes you valuable. You know, take some classes, really sit there and think of how can I be better in the fields that I'm in. You know, Lada, with you as an Aquarius rising, you know, maybe it's time to study a different branch of astrology, maybe expand your knowledge on different facets, you know. So it's things like that. What other skills can I get that make me elevate me to a higher level, right? Because this is about getting we're digging for gold, right? What other things can make me stronger and more valuable? And then learning how to manage money. That's another thing. You know, with Pisces there, sometimes you don't know how to manage your money. You're just like, hey, I'll spend it on this and that, and just money is
Totally agree.
what's that?
I totally agree. I never even know how much money I have or where it is.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Like,
So
the universe will take care of it. That's my
attitude. Yeah. My husband will manage it. Somebody else will take care of it, you know, because it's that's part of it, you know. But maybe taking a course and learning, you know, the effects of money, or how you can manage and how you can grow money, you know. But it's also about saving money. So, you know, starting some sort of savings, hiding, you know, this is Pisces is about hiding stuff. So you can hide money. This is in your second house. So you can hide money in your kitchen. You know, you can just get a little tin and just start, you know, cash, because it's also about like how are you spending your money. You know, are you being responsible? But I think having a plan of like, okay, maybe I'll just, you know, save some money, get cash out and just hide it in certain places. In some aspects too, other people are going to be, food is going up on prices, so how can you maximize this is couponing, and also looking at different rewards that you can get. There's websites that you can click on. I know Rakuten is something I use. You can find a store that you want to buy something at, click it, you get cash back. And so as you make a purchase, you're also getting money back from that purchase. The same thing with gasoline. And, it has a thing with gasoline too, right? With fuel. Prices are going up, everything is going up, but these are things that we have to buy on a daily basis. So there are apps like Get Upside where you can check in at the gas station and you can get cash back. And over time, this is a very slow process. You don't just get $10 back, it's $1 at a time, but over time you can stack up to where you get $50 or $100. So it's something that it's going to be long, but in the end you can actually get some cash back. So I think it's really good to try those things, and they have so many different apps like that available right now. So really research different ways of how to save and how to manage. Of course, in your wallet, because being Aquarius rising, and Pisces is, a lot of times it's about, the hidden things, right? Something that's no longer here. So money that is no longer being made. In America, there's a $2 bill. It's very rare to find. If you find something like that, you can put that in your wallet. You can put, because it is Pisces, foreign money, maybe now, Queen Elizabeth, money that had her on there, put it in there, they're no longer going to print that. So save something like that. Or a religious figure. You can have pictures of a religious figure in your wallet. But more importantly,
like a little icon, like,
Yep, exactly. Yep. A saint, something like that. You can have a picture in there, and yeah, definitely. And also when you're going to spend money is to have water with you. Ice, water, Saturn is something cold. Pisces is water. So when you need to go spend money, have a cup of ice water with you and drink it beforehand, and that can help just to make sure that you're kind of clear on how much you're going to spend or what you need to do. But that can help make sure that it's using that energy wisely too. Another important thing too is, Saturn is is a nature sign, right? It's an earth sign. So it's about going outside, getting connected into nature, walking outside. Even if you have to think about a big purchase, go for a walk outside, get your feet connected to the earth and see what comes to you, because also this is Pisces. So your intuition will tell you, this might not be the best thing. Follow your intuition, because if you don't, it's a test. If you don't, then you're going to lose the money. If you do, you can possibly save your money. So I think that's a huge aspect, is making sure that you're listening to your intuition when it comes to that. Capricorn rising, sun or moon, your third house. So, this is all about your communication, right? Here is, and it's all about your mind and, what you focus on. And so it's about really learning. You can really learn something new here. This is about, if we're talking about language and how you speak, it's a good time to learn a foreign language, right? Pisces is foreign, and in this third house of language, you can learn a foreign language. Your mind will be more focused. You will have a discipline. And of course, it's having a good meaning behind why you want to learn it. Is it, you want to travel in a couple of years and you want to go to Bulgaria. So you want to make sure you can, say thank you, ask for specific things, read signs if you're going to drive. So have a really have a purpose behind it. And I think that's a lot of is the intention. Like, I want to learn a foreign language because of this, you know, whether it's just want to expand your knowledge and you live in an area, you know, like here in Florida where, you know, there's a lot of people who speak Spanish and you want to learn how to speak Spanish because of that. You can also do some some puzzles that will challenge your brain. I know right now there's a lot of apps that have a lot of brain teasers, a lot of different things to sharpen your minds, right? I think on another angle is that, you know, it's about the unconscious things that people do, which is body language. And this third house is a you know, it's a cadent house, you know, it's a very changeable house. And also, you know, people's body language is very changeable too. And this is also about like selling and stuff. And so if you're in any type of business where you're selling something, you're in front of people, it's good to learn how to read body language. So you can take a course. You can see just subtle signs in people's faces, whether they believe you, whether they're lying. So there's a lot of ways that, you know, a new skill for you in this communication is learning this unconscious communication. So I think it's going to be a big thing, and it's going to take a while to cultivate it, but I think it's going to be pivotal for a lot of people to understand that. Another thing is sign language. You know, can you elevate yourself to learn some simple sign language for maybe some friends that you know, or maybe you're in an industry who people do come. I've seen some touching stories where, you know, people go into restaurants and speak in sign language, and somebody knows and they can respond back to them. And so, you know, I think it's just about looking at all kinds of different ways that you can communicate. This is going to be very self-critical. You know, your thoughts about yourself are going to be coming through with Saturn, and is really going to test you with, you know, how you're speaking. Like, oh, did I say that right? You know, was that the wrong thing to do? So utilize it to your best, right? And be mindful about how you speak. You know, it could come off harsh, it could come off cold. So really just analyze and maybe ask someone, oh, did that come off wrong? I'm sorry, I apologize, and really kind of own up to your responsibilities here. And also use some positive affirmations for your own self to make sure that you're keeping yourself elevated as well. So you don't go onto the critical side. We need the critical because we need to grow, we need to learn. But you know, we also need to make sure that we're switching that to some positive as well, especially if you do realize that maybe I am being cold. You know, just say, I'm trying to get my point across, and really try to work on that, because it can be something that you hear. You know, a spiritual practice is going to be important as well, because this third house does rule your lungs, you know, and Pisces here can make it weak, you know, also like a weak voice as well. So breath work, you know, really finding a practice. There's so many different types of meditation that involves breathing, you know, that can teach you, and you'll find the practice, but this is something that's going to be really important to strengthen your lungs, and it can also help strengthen your voice, you know. Also back to the cold and hot shower, I think that'll be really pivotal as well. Let's see. Oh, swimming, something like that. Just being in some water, even like a little hot tub. But channeling, you know, we're still talking about like communication here. You can channel with writing if that's something that you've always wanted to learn. You know, you can get messages from the spirit side, and that might be something that you always do, just because the nature of having Pisces in this third house is kind of connected to that spirit realm. You know, is it through your dreams? Do you get some insights throughout the day? Write it down. So I think this will be a really good time to, you know, if you've always been interested in it, maybe this is time to get really dedicated and get serious about it. Take a course and learn about it, research. speak up. This is the time to really get strong in your convictions, and really, Saturn is going to be here to test you. And if you don't respond well, then you'll have the negative side of it. So you really need to learn to speak up for yourself and express yourself. I think it's pivotal here, for volunteering. You can volunteer in your community. You can donate. There's organizations, big brother, big sister type of thing, where, children who don't have maybe other role models in their life, you can come in, and maybe they don't have parents, and you can come in, or maybe they don't have a father or something, or even a mother, and the father's putting their child in this program to get exposure to, a female in their life, and vice versa for males. But you can, in your community, you can go and volunteer your time and speak with these kids, and take them on little adventures in your community, or just go help out at these organizations. Other thing is, they have a lot of like backpacks. Some of the kids can't afford school supplies. It's really expensive. So buying some backpacks, donating school supplies to the schools. They also have like bikes, they do bike drives, and you can donate that. Maybe you have some old bikes, or you just go to the store and buy a couple bikes that were on sale, and just take them to some local organizations that where these kids can't afford it. But these are things that are third house things, right? And so another thing is libraries. Go through your books. Do you have any old books that you're no longer using? Take it to the local library. Another good thing that I think is really good is to maybe set up some sort of I forget how to really say this, but I don't want to say like an overflow, but I was downtown, and I saw this little stand, and it was like, take a book, leave a book, in your local community, where you can just have a stand where you just put books there, and then as you're walking down the street, oh, I like this book, I'll take it, and then you can bring it back and put another one in. You can do that within your neighborhood, like your physical neighborhood. Talk to your neighbors and say, hey, let's do a community table, like maybe the first Sunday of every month, where we come and put things that we're no longer needing, that is open to us, our community. It's free. You have some extra cans of vegetables, or maybe you have a garden and you have an excess amount of stuff. Maybe you have some old clothes. Start with your neighborhood, and let people take what they need, and then if you want to do a yard sale, fine. If not, you can go donate it to these organizations where, other kids in your community need it, or your other neighbors. So I think it's really important to do that, to be in your community and give stuff. You don't always have to receive money back on things like a yard sale. You can start with your own. Of course, if it is something you're trying to sell that has a lot of value, of course you can sell that. But I think it's pivotal to really connect within your neighborhood and share what you no longer need. You can have your name analyzed. I have, with the reading that I'm doing a promotion, part of it goes with analyzing your name. So this would be a really pivotal time to find out, is your name fortunate or challenging? And be really interested for you guys to realize how it plays out in your life. Another thing is about, protecting your files. Do you have things backed up? Is it time to, maybe change the system? Because, Saturn is about changing, restructuring, reorganizing, your life. And, this is about, updating that. Is your computer, does it have the latest software? Does it need to be updated? Do you need to back up some of your files? Do you like scanning them and changing and doing it in that sense, just for a backup? It's all about preparing for this transit, and it's going to be a long one. So if you start the preparation and you have something solid now, then it's going to be so much easier when it goes through. Because if you don't protect, then we don't want to talk about what could happen, right? You can lose some things, and we don't want that to happen. So it's always important to have things backed up. And then protecting yourself, this is, you're around people, and you absorb the energy of, you know, what they say and the people that you're around. And so understanding that by having crystals with you that will ground you and protect you will be vital, or just learning a practice of protecting yourself and learning how to say no. I think it'll be pivotal for you. All right, so Sagittarius, fourth house. You know, I think Saturn coming in here can cause, you know, some emotional instability. It's really common for this, because this is, you know, a house that is ruled by Cancer, very emotions. You know, it could bring up some emotions from your past when you were a child. And, you know, it could be a time to really be honest with those feelings with your family members, especially your parents. You know, you could start some counseling to really, you know, you want to, if Saturn might just expose those, and you really need to look at, you know, how can you overcome them? And maybe those have been blocking you from relationships in current day, and you realize, you know, what happened. And so I think it's going to be a really good time for doing that. Also, you can have readings where they access your chakra records. Why can't I say that today? Where you can cut some of the cords of some of the things from your past. Your parents might, you might get some responsibilities of your parents. They might get sick. They might need some help from you. So you might feel like there is, sometimes people will look at it as a burden. Maybe just look at this as, you know, your parents took care of you as a child, and now it's your turn. So, and because of that, really, it's good to have your parents go get a health check right now, making sure, you know, checking their house, really analyzing and making sure that, you know, we're prepared, so that way we can start tackling anything, or maybe they need to start making some changes in their life. So this would be a good time to really analyze that for your parents. Ancestry, you know, this is where you can dive really deep into your genealogy. You know, do a DNA test, and you might discover some family secrets. People might come into your life that you didn't know existed, or you can learn a lot of things about your family, you know, where they came from, your nationalities, you know, relations to, you know, famous people or historians. And so it's pretty interesting stuff to really dive into that. And also, like, family karma, you know, it could be that you grew up understanding ingrains, because, you know, this is about early development as a child in this fourth house. You know, you could have been told that, you know, you can't make a certain amount of money, or your only role is to be at home and to be a mother, that you can't have a career, whatever the case may be. There could be some things that they tell you that you don't, you're not worthy enough, or, you know, maybe they broke you down. So this is, or, you know, all of your family never went to college. There's, you know, a lot of things that, you know, you can break the cycle. You can be the one who steps out of that. You can move away. You can, you know, you can just change that karma. So really understanding and really thinking back to what has your family taught you, what were those lessons, and how can you change that and move past it. You know, here again, it's volunteering and donating. You know, this is the fourth house, this is the home. So there are people who don't have a home. You know, Pisces is to be without. The fourth house is a home. So somebody who doesn't have a home, go there and donate your time. You don't have to donate money. You can donate your time. And by going there, you're going to see how much you have versus how much somebody who doesn't have. Okay. And then it's going to shift that energy, because now you're using that Saturn and Pisces for a positive, because now you're giving back to your community. Somebody in a homeless shelter, it can be very well go through your house. You know, are there furniture that you're not using anymore? Are there, you know, pots and pans, you know, something like that. Like, go through your house and donate it to people who really need it. There's organizations like Habitat for Humanity who build homes. Do you have a specific skill that you can go? And you don't have to be a carpenter or a builder. You can just be a really good painter. You can be, you know, somebody who can really clean very well. So you can go volunteer your time for the day to help on cleaning or painting or just assisting people. Help them build homes for people. So that's one good way I think that will help shift that energy and also give you a different perspective, because a lot of times Saturn's going to come in and make you feel like there are things that you're lacking in your home that, you know, that you want to change, which is fine. Yes, change your home and do stuff, but also it's about appreciating what you do have. You know, so start with your home as well. Have your home inspected. You know, how are the pipes? Do things need updating? How is the foundation? You know, this is your foundation. We want to make it solid. Saturn is something solid. You might be inspired to renovate and change things, and that's great. It'll give a new, fresh look to it, right? You want to feel like you're accomplishing something. It's an action house, right? So it's a cardinal house. So you want to be taking a lot of action, but let's do inspired action, okay? Let's do it with intention, okay? And you might move to a new house. So you might just decide, hey, at this point, I'm done with this house. There may be too much memories. There may be too much to fix. And you're ready for a new start. And that's okay. Because it's all depending, you know. And having a spiritual altar in your home doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have an altar, but having spiritual pictures, you know, whatever resonates with you, but having something around is going to be good. And also cleansing your home. You know, you can do sage and you can do a nice cleanse of your house. You can put crystals. Remember, Saturn does rule crystals. You can have them, you know, outside your home. Maybe you can redecorate outside and just update your landscaping and put some crystals out there, or some rocks, some stones, and then inside your house as well. This is, you know, self-care at home. You know, take a hot bath, meditate, try different type of meditations, and get creative. You know, Pisces is a very creative sign, you know, and Saturn wants you to get serious about something. You know, what is it that you want to be creative more on? You know, have you been a painter and you just done some basic painting and now you want to learn a different technique? You know, take a class, or start painting more. Maybe you've done it back in the day. Think back at the last time you had this transit, or, you know, what were you doing? You know, do you like to dance? Take some dance classes. Take some new different type of dance classes. Or very easily, I know, you know, in America, a lot of things are open up here, and some countries don't have the freedom to do a lot of that. And so online, you can at home watch videos of dancing, and you can take classes at home, or you can just put music on and you can just dance and you can just enjoy yourself. You know, get very comfy. This is a very relaxing space. And then, you know, there's an escape element. Saturn is going to want you to feel like, well, Pisces likes to escape, but Pisces or Saturn is, you know, a little structure to it. So maybe just do a little escape on a weekend. Just go to a hotel, a different city, you know, just go maybe just one night and, you know, stay at a hotel, you know, just separate from the house for a minute and disconnect. But if you don't have the funds for that, is maybe transform, and maybe that could be the biggest part of this, is transform some space in your home into a place where you feel like you're somewhere else. You know, is it where you get wallpaper and you put the mountains in a room, and you put you know, some pictures to make you, you know, and this might be your little meditation space to where you feel like you escape to the mountains. Or you can put like a beach theme. You can just transform something that makes you feel like you've escaped somewhere. If you don't have physically the money to go out and spend the money, there's different options that you can do within the home. And it could very well be outside of your home as well, in your backyard. Create a little space, a little meditation garden, something of that sort. Okay. And then also I put here the float bath as well. That is a really good way of isolating yourself in some water to where you can do some deep healing and transformation. But of course, if you don't have a float bath in your area, like I said, you can take a hot bath with some Epsom salt water. Scorpio and the 5th house. So Scorpio here, this is your children, right? And it's all about creativity in children, and also romance, love. So when we're looking at it on romance, if you're dating someone, maybe you're been doing, it's time to change, right? Saturn comes in and wants to kind of shake it up, and it wants to do some sort of changes, because the 5th house is a very fixed house, and so you've probably been doing the same thing. Every Friday you go to dinner, or you hang out with these specific people, or you go to a movie, and maybe now it's about shifting that perspective. Get away for a weekend. If you can't get away, then maybe it's time to pretend that you're somewhere else. Role play is a really good thing to try. Maybe you haven't tried that, but maybe get some different clothes and say you're somebody else. Go to a restaurant and have them try to come pick you up. But it could be something exciting, new and exciting, that you can try. Your relationship can start to become more serious. You can, if you're single, you might date an older person. When it comes to your children, is once again, like I was saying about like the delays, you want to create some boundaries with them. It might be time to change how you have been structuring their day-to-day life. They need some structure, because with Pisces there, it's kind of like, go with the flow, kind of let them do what they want. And maybe now you've seen, because Saturn is going to come here and you're going to realize, oh, this is a little hard, that it's hard to manage. They are maybe a little out of control, and you really want to get some structure to them. So it's time to implement, a structure with them. Learn how to say no, create some boundaries. And when they ask you for something, give the delay. Oh, I'll think about it. I'll let you know. Don't respond to them automatically. Don't say, oh, you can do whatever you want, which is the typical, kind of just, whatever, however it is. And also it's about getting them to teach them how to be creative. This is a very creative sign, and Saturn is going to teach them some lessons. So you being the parent, maybe they're going to teach you some creativity as well, because this is about your creativity. So maybe through them, you can be creative, play with them, do things that they're doing, at the park, swing with them, go down the slide, and just feel what it feels like to be a kid again. And that might inspire your creativity, because Saturn is going to be testing your creative as well. But put them in something structural, whether it's dance class. I also feel like, self-defense, how can they learn to defend themselves? This is a really important thing for them to learn. So put them in a structured environment. As well as the volunteering or donating. Think about, high schools. Maybe you have a skill, you have knowledge where you can go be a tutor. You might be good at sports, and you can go do some volunteering coaching, at the school. Or maybe you're not, maybe you don't have those skills, and you can just volunteer to work the concession stand. You can volunteer to just assist with whatever the school might, have going on. Help with some fundraising, but getting involved, I think it'll be pivotal, and it'll remind you of what it was like back then, and of course Saturn is about thinking about the past and stuff, and so you can make a difference in some of these children's lives. You might have some of those skills where you can just go and chat and tutor and help out. Like I said, your creativity is going to be tested. So going through your kids, volunteering, a lot of these things is gonna help your creativity, because you want to restructure how you work as well. And of course, vacation, Saturn coming here might want you to go on a vacation. Maybe you feel like you're blocked and that you can't, and so it's about maybe planning. So it could be taking the time to really investigate, where do I want to go, do the research, put the work into it, start saving, have a clear goal, have an understanding. If you can't go, if you can go somewhere where it's sunny, because this is fifth house and it's always like sunny with the beach, but also maybe something with some stone, like Greece. Greece would be a really good place. It's far away, it has a lot of cliffs, rocky, and water. But like I said, if you can't go, then plan it. Really work on restructuring how you actually plan for vacations. You'll probably learn a lot more different strategies as well. And I think the biggest thing here is about learning to love yourself. This is a house of love, and this is a really good time because it's a self-love. And I think a big thing here is going to be like mirror work. I know we talked about in the last video as well, but the reflection is a Leo thing, and so standing in front of a mirror and your own reflection is going to be a pivotal thing for you to really fall back in love with yourself. Realize your flaws, the best things about you, and I think it'll be really good to try something like that and really take care of yourself. Date yourself. If you're single, date yourself. Take yourself out. Don't be secluded. I think a lot of times when somebody has a Scorpio ascendant and they're not in a relationship, sometimes they feel like they don't know where to go, right? They don't know where to go meet other people. And it's about going and being out, going to a restaurant, going out, where they going to concerts. That would be a really good thing too, is get yourself out there. Don't seclude yourself in, push yourself. It's about pushing and testing your limits, but getting you out, so I think that'll be a really pivotal part, is to get out there and fall in love with yourself. And I think that will, if you can love yourself, other people can love you as well. But I think this will be a really good time to do that. Libra in your sixth house. So sixth house, this is important. This is your work, this is your health. And so I think it's a really good time because Saturn wants to organize. So when it comes in here, with Libras, with this Pisces, their work is, oh, I'll do this, I'll do that, and just maybe go with the flow. And maybe is wants to, they're changeable, it's adaptable, but sometimes it's not the best organized. And there can be exceptions. I know there might be different planets there and stuff, but this is the time now when Saturn comes here, it's about getting organized. It's about cleaning something up, right? Because this is the house of clean. So this is a deep dive into your house. Clear out your house, go through your closet. What clothes have you not been wearing? Because this is the clothes that you wear. This represents what you wear, to work and just daily life. So go through your closets, really put everything, I know there's a show on Netflix about organizing. Look at that. But Marie Kondo, put all your closet or your clothes on the bed and only put the ones that you've been wearing. You can watch the program. I know that there's a way you can do where you can see if you wore it for a year, but you can also get rid of some of the things that you're not wearing. Do you have some old work clothes that you haven't worn in years? Maybe some old suits, put them off to the side. It's time to let go. The same thing with your desk at work, your files, go through everything. What can you purge? What needs to be shredded? What needs to be let go of? Sometimes we hold on to things that aren't serving us, and it causes disorganization. So it's a really good time to organize your life, because you want to have a good, healthy balance. Libra, you're about balance. And so this is about balancing your home and your work, of cleaning it out. So it's like a detox, a mini detox. But this is going to mean that you're going to have a busy time at work. There's going to be a lot more projects, a lot more responsibilities, newly things added to you. They're, to test you. Your patience will be tested. This is about setting boundaries. If somebody is asking something that's, extra for you, go back to the delays. Oh, well, let me think about it, or let me look into that. Don't respond right away. You want to make sure that you're going to respond the correct way, because like I said, you could feel, or your colleagues might feel, you might be a little cold or a little distant. But really, what you're really trying to do is get a lot of work done. You're really trying to accomplish at work, right? So it's really about setting some boundaries with them. Maybe you constantly, because this is a service house, people are always asking you, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? And maybe very simple of, when I'm done with my project, then I will come help you, but really just having those boundaries set, I think is going to be, pivotal. And managing your time is going to be very, very important. Having a list of what you want to accomplish that day is going to be pivotal, because I think Pisces likes to go with the flow, and Saturn just wants to have the structure. So the structure is coming. Write it down. What do you need to accomplish? And it's going to, I think, really set you up if you have that list. There could be, a health crisis. Saturn will come in here and uncover something maybe that you didn't know. And so it's really a good time now, as you're preparing for this, go get a physical. Make sure that you're doing your annual exams. Make sure that you're just checking things, just to make sure. Not that you're anticipating things to happen, but, understanding that these type of physicals, these type of exams that you can do on a yearly basis, especially when you get to a certain age, can be life-saving. Okay. And it's a good time to detox. Intermittent fasting is really good for restricting the food that you're eating. And you can try it. There's a lot of different techniques. You can do just a straight detox where you're restricting food, or you're doing like a juice cleanse. There's a lot of different things that you can try, whatever resonates with you, whatever works best for you. But, because it does have to do with your diet. It's cleaning up your diet. It's restricting, that's where I feel like the intermittent fasting will be good. If you typically eat breakfast every morning at 8, maybe waiting and just drinking some green tea in the morning, and then eating a little bit later. Drinking lemon water here again is going to be really good. Also teas are going to be really good. Green teas. Look into alternative healing. This could be where you go see an herbologist, somebody who works with teas, somebody with Bach flower remedies, right? I think you have somebody on your channel, Lada, who does that. Or maybe you just want to learn about that as well, because this is about really deep diving and learning something And then, so another part is exercise, start an exercise routine. It's about something light, yoga, some water aerobics, going swimming, or you could just basically, while you're at work, go for a walk for lunch, like eat your food, go for a walk, ground your feet outside because Saturn wants you to be grounded. So kind of disconnecting from work and going outside, changing of the scenery will be good as well. You can get a pet, you can get a fish, have a little fish tank on your desk at work is going to be good. Or you can rescue a dog or a cat, from a shelter. If you don't want to get a pet, you can walk your neighbor's pets. You can ask them if you can go, or volunteer. You can go volunteer at a pet shelter, or you can help take care of them. You take them food, or you can donate your food to a food shelter. You can sign up to be a mentor as well. This is, the house of work and a being of service. So there's these organizations, and you have people who, maybe have just gotten out of prison and they're trying to get back into the workforce. And you can give them, coaching and teach them about, your industry, or just different things that help you in your day-to-day life for your job. Or you can mentor someone at work. Maybe you have a new colleague who started and wants to do your role. Or you can seek out a mentor for what you want to accomplish next. What's your next site? You're working towards that 10th house, so it's about partnering with someone and learning. And then your clothing, we talked about, cleaning out your house and your closet. Your work clothes can be donated to a shelter. Those people, like someone who just got out of prison, who is getting out into the workforce and they need interview outfits, or homeless shelters and they're going to get a job, they need interview outfits, so going through your clothes and really knowing that this is going to be, for a good cause. But another thing is that, when you give something physically away, it's always good because what you give out into the world comes back to you. And so I like to do this little intention when I give away things, and I'll say, I bless you with love and release you from my life. And that way you're giving that love, you're releasing it from your life, but then that love can come back to you, right? So I think this would be a really good thing. And then because this is health as well, everybody has somebody in their family or their network of friends who might have some sort of illness, whether it's cancer or they've transplant, some sort of illness. And maybe get behind these organizations, do a breast cancer walk, do some fundraising. You don't have to be the person who is donating the money. You can donate your time. So you can donate, you can see what type of walks are going on, what kind of organizations, and these charities, and go get involved. And also another thing too is that, you're cleaning up your diet, eating more locally sourced food. So go into your local farmers market in your neighborhood to buy food versus going to the big box chains to buy your food. Start local first, and then you might find that you're able to get everything locally versus having to go to the Walmarts or the Publixes of the world. But I think that would be good too, because you're also supporting your community. And so service is a big thing here. And so I think that I didn't put it on here, but just added that. Virgo, so now you're in the 7th house. So your relationships are going to go through a lot of tests. This is going to be a pivotal time for you once it crosses there. If your relationship is strong, it could end in a marriage, where you end up making that final commitment and decide, what, it's time to get married and make that real commitment. If it's weak, a lot of those aspects of that relationship is going to be exposed, and it might end, you know. So that's, there will be a lot of tests, you know. You're going to be pushed and wanting to learn patience, but also through the tests to make sure it's going to show who's loyal through the tests for sure, you know. So here we go with, you know, delaying your responses to your partner or the partners, because it's not just about your spouse. It's also about people that you work with, you know, in partnership with. Maybe you have a business and you have a business partner, and maybe this business partner always on the last minute says, hey, can you go do XYZ? You know, certain things like that. Or maybe your partner is the same way as well. Like, hey, can you go do this for me? And maybe you, because Virgo rising is about service, you know, and it's on this, what we call a suffer and serve axis, you know, and so you feel like this is your role, this is your duty. But maybe now this is time for you to really stand up for yourself and say, oh, well, give me a minute, or let me think about it, or I can do it, but I can do it at this time, or, you know, something like that. It's got to be creative to you. You know, you don't just want to respond right away because this is a cardinal house, you know, and it's wanting to do that instant action. And with Pisces there on that 7th house, it's very slow to take some action. So your partner might be very slow to take some action as well. So it's got to be like inspired action again. Once again, inspired action, and understanding why you're taking that, you know. So setting boundaries with your partner is going to be pivotal, because you want to a lot of times what happens with Virgo risings is they become their partner. You almost become invisible because you meld together, and you really lose your sense of identity. And so this really is about standing up for yourself and making sure that you still have a separate personality versus your relationship. You're not just this person who's married, or you're not just this person who owns a business. You're an individual as well. So I think this is where setting boundaries and really saying, oh, I only do those on, you know, Mondays, or, you know, you're going to have to be creative with it. But I feel like it's about really stepping up into taking control of yourself. Okay. Not separating from your partner, but just separating your individuality from the partner. So this would be like having some alone time, doing some meditation, you know, for yourself. I think would be good. But it's also good to do things with as a couple, you know, create a couple's vision board. You know, this is about, you know, having your goals and ambitions and dreams. Saturn really wants you to be clear on what you want. So having a board of what you guys want to accomplish is going to be good. On the other hand, if you're single, create a couple's vision board as if you were in a relationship. You know, what things do you want to do in the relationship? Do you want to go to the movies? Do you want to cook together? Do you want to travel? Put those things and envision what that's going to be like. Sit there and meditate on that. Okay, meditate on that end result. How, not the I don't have, because if you continue to focus on the I don't have, I have so many people come to me, I don't have a relationship, when am I going to find, when am I going to meet someone? You know, this is the time to work on yourself, you know, build yourself up, you know, learn things, explore yourself. But you know, it will come, but create that vision, so that way when you're looking at it, you know what's coming. Let's see. Oh, there's a neat thing. It's called the Love Dare. You know, it's a 40-day challenge where couples go through and really re-sparks their, you know, their relationship. You can also write a love letter to your partner, and, you know, challenge each other to do that, and talk about, like, you know, when you first met and things you love about them, not what you don't like about them. Have this be all about the positive things, why you fell in love with them, how you fall in love with this person. You know, we really want to focus on all the strong characters and the good things, because and that's where a gratitude list will be important too, is really just each day think of 3 things you're grateful for about your partner, or even just one. And also understanding that an appreciated person will do more for you than someone who does not feel appreciated. And so Saturn, you know, is about, you know, someone who can give out that appreciation, right? Because it's like your boss. And when it what rules the 10th house, and when your boss tells you, I'm really proud of you, you did a really good job, you feel really good. Well, think of it in this angle. Saturn comes here, this is you now, right? And to your partner, giving that appreciation, like, hey, thank you so much for making dinner tonight. You know, I had a late night and it was really good, and I just really thank you. Or even if they take the trash out, thank you for taking the trash out. Maybe he does it every day, you know. But and even if he does something late or she does something late, when they do it, appreciate it. Oh, thank you for taking out the trash. And they might say, oh, well, I know it's been there for a few days, but I appreciate it anyway. Because the appreciation is going to do so much more than criticizing. So really take that challenge, because that challenge, that Saturn is going to want to test you and to expose what's wrong. But really what we need to expose what's right, and really builds that up. Volunteer together. You know, you guys can both go through your closets. You know, what clothes do you have? What throughout the home do you not need? You know, and give it to charity. You know, give it to those organizations that need clothing. Go donate at different organizations. You know, there's so many different things, but especially with families, something to do with families where they need maybe they've been displaced from their home, maybe they've lost their home to fires or natural disasters or something to that extent. You know, so really go through your home and okay, I don't need this, and let me get rid of that and do that. And here, you know, I put in here to, you know, schedule a date night weekly. You might be in a point in your relationship where you just do the same undone things all the time. It's just a habit, right? You're constantly doing the same thing. So it's really time to say, okay, you know, every Friday we're going to have a date night, and each week it's someone else's responsibility, because you want to put a responsibility on that. Let's try something new. Let's do something different. Let's, you know, it expands with that. And bonding with your partner, I think is going to be really good. You can do couples yoga together. You can do that in the comfort of your own home, or you can go out and do a class together. You can do the same thing with a couples massage. If you can afford it, go out and do a couples massage and really just relax. Or just do massage night at home, where one night you're just like, okay, tonight I'm going to give you a massage and I'm going to 100% take care of you. And then the next week it's that partner's turn. So, you know, switching it up like that. Tantric sex might be a really good thing. Take a class, you know, learn some different skills, expand your knowledge, and doing it together. You know, this is a very creative sign of Pisces. You know, maybe you can do those painting classes together. You know, you go out and have some wine and paint a picture together, or you could do it at home. If you don't have the finances, you can, you know, do some sort of crafts together at home. It could also be a good time to do some couples counseling, you know, where you go and just strengthen the marriage and see if there's any other things that you can do communication wise, or other things that can help strengthen the partnership. Okay, so for Leos, your 8th house, this is, you know, it's really about your self-understanding, right? Because your 8th houses are your fears. It's time to face your fears and phobias, you know. what do you really need to develop? What can you cut out of your life? Scorpio is definitely about attachments. Okay, so what are you attached to that is it holding you back? That you feel like you've needed this whole time, and really you kind of come to the realization you might not need that, and you can let go of something because it's not serving you. And this is about service, right? This Pisces. And also really come to terms with, like, what do you need to develop for your own self? What is it that you're blocking and holding back? This is a financial house, so you could very well hide your money, bury it outside. You can get a nice box, you can take some money out of the bank. I know a lot of people are weary of banks and investing, and it could be time to just pull some cash out, but and bury it outside, just hide it. You can hide it inside your house too. You don't necessarily have to bury it. That would be good, but you can just hide the money, or you can put it in a foreign bank, right? And another thing is buy foreign money, with this investments being so a pivotal conversation right now, and money. Maybe there's a country that the value is you can buy it really cheap right now. So start buying that and save that. Let's see. Oh, volunteering as well. There's a lot of places where you can volunteer. There's domestic violence shelters. You can take your clothes and you can drop it off there. Any furniture, food, extra food. There's a lot of things that these people need as resources wise. Maybe crisis centers. They've lost their homes, and here in Florida, we had hurricanes, and a lot of people were displaced. So there's these crisis centers where you can take a lot of these things that you no longer need. At a hospital, they do have, you can sign up to be a volunteer at a hospital where you can go rock, newborn babies. There's babies in the hospital that, nurses can't sit there and rock babies all day, and some of them are, in there for a while, so you can go in there and you can rock babies. That would be a really fun thing to do on a volunteering aspect. And this is also about becoming a master, really learning something that is whether it's taboo or it's just something that you've really been interested in for a long time. The occult, right? Shamanism, and because it's about healing people. Shaman, you can learn some healing techniques, energy healing, Reiki, lucid dreaming. Okay, that would be really pivotal thing to learn. Astro travel, angels, really deep dive into angels and doing angel card readings. Crystals, using crystals for healing. And then, of course, the others, sex and death and crime. People get fascinated with these topics, and you can read books and you can watch documentaries. And I think a really interesting thing that I thought of is, channeling your sexual energy. There's a lot of research and there's a lot of old school stuff about this, about directing your sexual energy into a higher purpose. So a lot of times Saturn coming into the 8th can cause sexual blockage, make you feel like you're not performing or restricted. But really, it's about you taking control of your energy, right? Your sexual energy, so there's a lot of different things. There's a sexual transmutation. There's sexual magic. Of course, tantric sex. Look into some of these, see what feels, right for you or interesting for you, of, withholding sex and using that energy to really open you up more creatively. and it can also help you in other areas of your life. So it's really interesting thing to look into. But I think that this is the biggest point that I think is going to help is really how you're going to cultivate your energy and use it. And also role play. So, spice up your sex life with role play, maybe bring in some toys or something. But it's, I really think that this channeling that sexual energy is going to be a big thing that can do a lot of wonders. And Cancer, this is going to be in your ninth house. So, the ninth house is definitely a lot of self-improvement, right? There's a lot of changes that Saturn's going to come in here and it's going to make you feel like you need to change a lot. Your confidence needs to be strengthened, because a lot of times with Pisces here is you don't know what to believe, right? And so there can be a test of faith. Like, what do you really believe? You're really looking for a higher meaning. You're looking for that big picture, right? So you're searching for the truth. What do you believe in? A lot of this can be done with really breaking down maybe what you currently do believe in. What religion is that? Breaking that down, researching other religions, maybe angels, really researching angels and start studying angels. The same with tarot cards, because this is about seeing into the future. And that is a good way of doing that. And this is a skill that you can gain. This is about getting some higher learning, right? You can enroll in some higher education, big time for studying. Maybe you've already had some of this knowledge that you've been working on, and now it's time to put it in a book. So maybe you're going to write this book, and then, or you have been writing this book and now it's time to publish it. So that is, it's going to be a really big time, but you're really in a stage right now of preparing. What have you learned? What are you lacking? What do you need to let go of? And you want to open up as many doors as possible, because Saturn is the planet of opportunity. It's going to bring a lot of different things at you that you are going to have to learn how to understand. Is this valuable for me? How much can I learn from this? Because next, when you get into that 10th house, you're going to use those skills. You can also have a spiritual awakening here. Pivotal way of doing this is go to retreat out of the country, whether it's to an astrology retreat, go to Peru and do ayahuasca, learn different meditations, or just I think this is going to be a good aspect, finding a way, finding a different teacher, finding someone out of the country. And maybe you can't go out of the country. Maybe it's going on YouTube and watching these videos and enroll in, courses, like on Lada, you have the 12 signs and the aspects, going back to basics. I love those courses. I learned a lot. Victor has a lot of courses. I've taken probably every course that Victor has, because he's a really good teacher. So maybe this is time to find a different teacher and learn something new.
Thanks for the
Expand. What's that?
Thanks for the advertising.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's, you have a lot of people in that have a lot of programs, and I know Victor, he did the relocation. This would be a really good course to sign up for, that relocation course, right? Because what is the ninth house? It's about travel. Cancer is about home. Cancer rising, it's about home. Where's the best place to live? Where's the best place to visit? Where will I emotionally feel strong? So, enrolling those courses, and I'm thinking about doing that too. So, learn a lot more, because once you get to that 10th house, that's where you'll be able to use that. Let's see. so Gemini, now we get to that 10th house, right? And so sometimes Saturn coming here is going to be a change of status. You can get married, your name changes, you get promotion, you have more responsibilities at the company now. They see you as a leader. And you're put to the test. Like Saturn comes and puts you to this test. It's about if you have been working hard, if you have been going through all these lessons through all these houses up until this point, if you put the work in, you can gain a lot of recognition. You can see a lot of rewards from it. But on the flip side, if you have not been doing the work and kind of been skating by, and now Saturn gets into your 10th house, like maybe you've cheated, or maybe you've had other people do work for you, or maybe you've done it only halfway, or maybe you weren't doing something right. When Saturn comes, you will be exposed and you can lose your job. You can be fired. So Saturn is always going to give you what you've put out. So really, 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 pay attention to what you're doing when Saturn comes into this 10th house, because if you've been doing good and you've been doing your work, your reputation can grow. Like I said, you can get promotions, you can really become a leader, and it's your time to shine, really. It's time to teach, because you've learned a lot, especially in that 9th house. You've done a lot of deep diving, you've reevaluated your beliefs, and you've gained some skills. And so it's time to teach and mentor people as well. So now you're a leader. You can mentor people at work. You can also do this back into your community as well. So back to donating and volunteering, at homeless shelters, veterans nursing homes. That can humble you really quickly, going into those places and talking to these veterans and understanding the sacrifices they've made for our country, what they've went through. And these nursing homes need people to talk to, but these are people who have had either a lot of success, or they've been through a lot. And so just volunteering your time to go there and joining a cause, maybe it's time for you to start a cause. Maybe now you feel, as this Gemini rising, that you want to reach, maybe it's children, and you want to empower children at a young age about courage. Saturn is about courage, and it's about strength. And so maybe you want to start some sort of cause. This is about you being a leader and standing out in the crowd. It could also be donating your clothes, again, like I talked in the 6th house, to especially your work clothes, to organizations, helping people look for jobs, prep them on interviews, and help give people some skills. So I think giving back into the community, and that, I think that's going to be really good for that. You can also start your own business. This could be the time where you finally decide, okay, it's time for me to break away. You might do it while you still have your current job, so it could be extra work, or it's still going to be a lot of work, hard work, because there's a lot of new things that you have to learn, a lot of tests, a lot of things to overcome. But through every test is just going to make you stronger. And that's what I want everybody to understand about Saturn, is he brings all these opportunities and tests, but it's how you get through it. And in the end, you're going to find that strength, and you're going to be so much stronger. So, grounding yourself is very vital for this stage, because you are out, to the public. Everybody sees you in the company. They're looking at you. So taking a break at work, going out for lunch, going out for a walk, connecting it in nature. Gemini, you need to be active. You need to be constantly changing, and that mutable side of you, along with this mutable side of Pisces, is wants to make a lot of changes, but sometimes doesn't know how. So it's walking will help clear that path for you. Getting grounded will help clear that path for you. Also, your desk. Make sure your desk is clean and organized. You should have done that in the sixth house, but you want something to last for a long time. So keeping your desk organized, maybe a new system that you need to do with how you are working. You can have crystals on your desk to help keep you grounded. You can also have a fish tank on your desk. Or if you don't want a pet there, you can have like pictures of an ocean, or, religious, if you want a religious figure in there, somehow you can even hide it. You can put a saint, you can hide it in your desk. Nobody knows it's there but you. And it's also about you being boundaries at work as well, because the balance of home and work is going to be pivotal for you, because there's going to be so much work, but you still need to make sure that you take time for family and balance. So that's going to be a challenge for that. So having a detailed plan every day of what you want to accomplish, but also making sure that you take the delay in responding to requests from people, your peers. Not giving the answer right away. Of course, we're in a cardinal house who does want to make an action, take an action really fast. But you want to sort of slow it down, and it doesn't have to be a long delay. If they ask you if you want to, even if it's just to lunch, hey, do you want to go to lunch today? You can very simply say, well, where are you going? What time are you going? I'll let you know. Let me think about it. Let me check my schedule. That's the easiest one here. All you have to say is, let me check my schedule. I'll get back with you. And then you don't have to be self-critical if you make the wrong decision, which is what happens when you make an impulse decision and there's a Saturn aspect, is then you're self-critical. Then you're mad and you're annoyed. Why did I agree to go? Because then you have this obligation. So this way you really get to give yourself a little time. Do I really want to go to lunch with this person? Or do I have time? Because it's about managing your time. How are you managing your time? Are you investing it in the right people if you're an owner? Do you have the right people working for you? Are they managing their time? How can you maximize that? And these are where your creativity is going to help to really maybe streamline it. Let's see, what's next? Taurus. So your 11th house, right? So this is doubly fixed, right? Taurus is a fixed sign, 11th house is a fixed house. It's I think it's time to try new things. Aquarius is about trying different things. You want to be a little bit more innovative on things that you're currently doing, and try new things with your friends, different networks, right? So I think that looking at things from different angles is going to be a good thing, because you're going to be like kind of analyzing everything when Saturn comes here. Financially, if you've been doing the work in the 10th house, you can get rewarded. You can get increased money, right? Because this is the money from the work that you've done in the 10th house. So this is the second from the 10th. So you can get a promotion, you can get a bonus, you can get extra money, you can get a raise. I think it's pivotal, because this is about your goals, is to create a vision board, maybe your 5-year plan, right? Because Saturn is a long term, and Taurus is the sign that takes its time. You want some stability. Taurus rising wants stability, and so your goals should reflect how you can grow and just cultivate something for the long haul. So I think a vision board of your goals would be really good. you know, you've had also the time to cultivate your knowledge. You can share your knowledge with the collective. You know, the Aquarius 11th house is the collective. So it could be where now you become a teacher, where now you're sharing, you know, content on social media. You can try to connect in different ways. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be social media. You can actually go out into your community and you can organize a, you know, Reiki share where you go and teach people about Reiki and do some free energy healing for people, or you can go do some free tarot card readings, or you can do a, you know, a speech in person about, you know, remedies and, you know, Saturn in Pisces to people. And then, you know, so it doesn't necessarily have to be social media. It can be networking and doing it in your community, but test different ways to see what's going to work for you. I think here it's pivotal, you know, doing something different to your body as well. You know, skin brushing is good. A vibration plate. If you stand on these, if you've heard of them, you stand on them and it vibrates and it just shakes your body. It's the weirdest thing, but it's also really good for circulation, you know, and getting things moving. And it's different, right? It's unique, it's different. Also jumping, you know, a mini trampoline. So, you know, and you can do these things before you're going to go out to visit friends. You can do these before you're going to go out and network out in the community if you're involved in specific things, because this is one way of helping shift that energy for you. And if you don't have a mini trampoline, you can literally, before you leave your house, stand there and jump 10 times. You know, that is going to activate that that energy, that Aquarian energy. You're jumping and just get you on that frequency. So just doing little shifts like that. But you know, your friendships can have a big test coming on, you know. Maybe it's time to understand, because you know that Pisces is about sacrificing. Do you sacrifice a lot for your friends? Like, do you give a lot and maybe not get a lot in return from them? You know, you could see where some of your friendships could fizzle away, you know, where you were really tight with them, then all of a sudden now you just really aren't aligned with what you're currently going through because you're evolving. And maybe your friends aren't evolving. Maybe they're still, because this is Pisces in your 11th house, they still like to party and they like to do drugs, and they're just like, they don't have any goals and they haven't changed careers and they're stagnant in their life. But you need to move on, right? So reconfiguring the people that are in your life, you might get a whole new set of friends. But also when people are asking you, you know, hey, do you want to go to the movies? You say, oh, well, let me check my schedule. It doesn't have to be anything drawn out. Just let me check my schedule. I'll get back with you. Let me think about it. I have some things going on, but I'll see what I can do, type of thing. You don't want to respond right away. And you also want to give boundaries. You know, if they ask something out of the ordinary, or something that they could do, but they just want you to do it, type of thing. You know, Saturn is about standing up and, you know, standing up to them and letting them know, you know, oh, I'm not going to do that, or I've already done it, or, you know, something to that effect. But it's about creating boundaries. So, you know, this is a part of, you know, these organizations that you might have been involved in. If you've been donating, if you've been involved in the community, you know, this could be time to take more of a leadership role in that field, you know. It's something that you've been caring a lot about, you know. Get involved more, or maybe you haven't been, and maybe now's the time for you to really get out of your box, and maybe you didn't know how to do it before, and now Saturn comes in here and it's going to show you the way, because Saturn is always going to put these opportunities kind of in your face for you to decipher, you know, how are you going to respond? And really our power is in our response. And so you can either be negative or you can be positive about it, but but truly it's on you. You know, a lot of things can influence, but at the end of the day, you're the last person with the choice. And so it's pivotal to really to stand up for that. So, you know, and it's good to stand up for something that you believe in, you know. What groups resonate with you in the times that you're going through. So let's see, did I miss anything on here? Okay, I'll go on to Aries. So Aries, Sun, Moon, or Rising, your 12th house. Wow. You know, right now, it's almost as if you're going into like a dormant stage, right? You're preparing for this new birth. Because now this is the time, you know, Saturn is coming in here to kind of gives you that authority to go after your dreams, you know. What do you want to get rid of? You know, the old you, this persona of you is dissolving. Who do you want to become? You know, there's a lot of habits that you need to release. This is a good time to, you know, face those. What has been blocking you? This is, you know, it sounds a lot like the first house, but you know, this is a time where you can really start cultivating and breaking these habits of what's blocking you and cutting specific people out of your life, people who aren't serving you. Maybe these people are you're not your full self when you're around certain people, so you might feel like you've been blocked, and it's really time to restructure and reorganize yourself. Okay, it's about having a disciplined spiritual practice as well. You know, meditation, I think this should be guided as well, you know, because Saturn comes in with that structure and you want some sort of structure to it. Doing some yoga, channeling, learn how to really express your soul. Getting a massage too, I think that is really good with helping increase the circulation to your body. Hot and cold shower, like we talked about, it helps on such a deep physiological level of circulation and just transformation. And you've got Aries in this house of water. Aries is a hot rising sign, you know, and this 12th house being in Pisces in the water. And then Saturn coming in here with the colds, that cold and hot contrast would be really good. The float bath, again, if you can do it, I recommend it because it isolates you. You're in there for like 20 minutes, but the transformation is so great. Or at home, you can do a hot, you know, Epsom salt baths. They're going to be a big practice for you, you know. I can't say that. Akashic records to cut cords, you know, about your past. Really deep dive and understand the subconscious, what you're holding on to. Donate or volunteer. Now, here, this is a big thing because this is a suffer and serve, you know, area. And there's a lot of people who are less fortunate, you know, people who don't have a voice. There are people who are incapacitated, you know, people people who can't walk, people who can't talk. They're in hospitals. They also live in group homes. They're adults with disabilities. There's nursing homes. There's orphanages who have no parents, you know, that need homes, you know. So you can volunteer your time. You can go talk with these people. You can mentor them. You can donate clothes and items from your home. They have, you know, you can do during Christmas time. You can donate gifts, you know, toys, bikes. You know, things that you don't need. But I think the big thing here, and I think for everybody to understand, is that give without expecting something in return. Give without saying, well, I'm going to give this money to this organization because I think I will get more money later. I'll be rewarded later. If you do that, you're not going to be rewarded. If you do it with the sense of, I'm going to donate my time because these children don't have parents, so I'm going to go and take them on an adventure, or I'm going to go donate my time to these adults with disabilities who don't have family because to the family, maybe they're a burden, or maybe their family has passed away, and these people, they need assistance. So they need you to take them out into the community and get them out of the house and do things and just see them as a person. And I think that's a lot of things when people have a medical disability or challenges, is that they're seen as their disease and not as a person. And so by making, yeah. Okay, yeah. So I was saying that, give without expecting something in return is going to be, the biggest thing if you're doing this volunteering and giving. The other thing is that, you're going to feel like you want to disconnect from things. It's the best way to utilize that is you can go on a retreat. You can go where you can physically break down your body, spiritual retreat, even maybe a silent retreat where you're not speaking, and also get caught up on rest, get plenty of rest, have your room cold. Saturn's going to come in there, and you want your rooms to be cozy, but just getting it to be really, really cold will be good. You can also put crystals underneath your bed, black tourmaline, to help with absorbing the energy of the day and protecting yourself. And then, work on your creativity, in your seclusion, do something in private and get really creative, whether it's dancing, painting, but it's definitely a slower time of really just working on yourself. And you might feel like you want to travel, and you might be doing that for like a retreat, travel somewhere, do a detox somewhere, go explore, and that can give you more motivations as to, who you want to become as you come to the last house, as you get to the next house. So that's the end of the cycle there, is the 12th house. So I think that's it.
Thank you
To the end.
so much. Mishele, it was so thorough. I love that. And let me just get out of sharing so I can see you. Thank you. I absolutely love that. I was even taking notes. And I loved how gentle you are without scaring people and what they can do because it will happen. Saturn will be in a certain place in your house. So if you want to mitigate, to make softer the harsh influence of Saturn, do those things purposefully, deliberately, so you don't get into the lost side of Saturn, the pain side, the blockage side of Saturn. And you put it so beautifully, some simple advice. And
I think, the challenges are, these transits, they're not here to scare us. They're here to grow. We're here to grow through these transits, so it's about exposing what we need to know, learning through these tests, but it's about learning some patience through it. If you give up and if you get frustrated, then you're on the shadow side, and then everything's going to cascade. But if you say, okay, what am I here to learn? Let me pause. Let me think about it. Okay, I got this, and work through it. Then in the end, it's only going to make you stronger and better and wiser.
The buried treasure that you spoke about.
Finds the buried treasure. Exactly. And that's, so I think it's I think if people use it to their best and not fear it, I don't want everyone to fear. I mean, there's going to be tests, there's going to be losses, there's going to be, but your response, and that's our power, is how do we respond to what happens in our life,
Absolutely. And if anyone would like to connect with Mishele, Pleiades rising. That's her profile. She would look at your chart and she'll see the most challenging areas and the strongest, and she'll give you remedies and advice. What will be the fastest route to success, what to avoid, how to smooth out with certain actions, difficult situations in your life. And I love your type of reading because it's very empowering, and it doesn't take the free will of the person away, and it doesn't condemn them to certain destiny, and that's and give them the right ways and the best actions to take. So thank you so much, Mishele. Happy New Year 2023. May we all find the buried treasure.
Absolutely. Thanks, Lada.
Bye.
Bye.